Romney! Dudes, it is time to stand the test of time because we are taking a look at one of the best strategy games ever to be released on a home console with Sid Meier's Civilization Revolution, being played here on my Xbox 360. This was also released for the PS3 in 2008, but to get straight to the point, Civilization Revolution, or Civ Rev as us cool kids used to call it, is a stripped down and simplified version of the Civilization formula that translates well onto the gamepad control scheme. If that sounds like a red flag to some of you, don't worry, they kept the things that make the Civ series fun to play. Like all the other titles, the goal of this game is to create a civilization that absolutely outranks and dominates other nations as quickly as possible. There are a total of 4 victories or ways to win the game, each with their own simple prerequisites, such as own the capitals of other nations, have the most gold, have the most culture, or build a rocket ship. The ways to win are pretty self-explanatory and par for the course for the series. As usual, you start out choosing which leader to play as. Each civ has certain traits that make them stand out from each other and give the player an edge, especially at the start of the game. For instance, some of the nations just outright start with an advanced technology, and as you can imagine, some are better than others. For instance, the Spanish start with the tech navigation. This gives the ability to build galleon ships. These ships can cross open ocean, unlike the galley, which only travels by the shore. Why is this important and honestly overpowered? Well, this allows the Spanish to not only get a lay of the land quickly and possibly put a city on an uninhabited island, but it also allows them to quickly discover natives or natural wonders that are spawned across the map. Yeah, anyone that has played any of the other Civilization games probably just had a stroke at this statement. I distinctly remember the Spanish being banned from online play.
Ooh, a show. Follow.
So some civs are better than others, but that is not too surprising. But honestly, if you are just playing single player, you can easily overcome this beginning shortcoming with a little bit of strategy. I mean, this is a strategy game after all. Every single Civilization game from the first to the current is all about placement, and Civilization Revolution is no different. In fact, I would say it is the most important part of the game, especially in the game's combat. You see, the game's combat works on a whoever has the highest number is the winner type of playstyle. And there are very easy ways to jack up and even fuck up your number through placement and unit veteran upgrades. For example, if you place your unit on a hill, they will get a 50% increase to their base attack or base defense. But if you attack by going over a river, you will lose 50% of your base attack. Also, just because you have the higher number does not always mean you will win the battle. So having the greatest tech in the world does not mean you can just steamroll everybody. I have seen rifleman armies armed with muskets easily take out an army of modern day tanks, all because the rifleman had the better defensive placement. Keep in mind that all upgrades stack. So here's another example. If your city has walls, every unit in that town's base defense is doubled. Combine this with a great general and a unit with the engineer upgrade that also affects every other unit's base defense of the city, and yeah, you have an almost impenetrable wall. A lot of numbers I know, so as a guiding principle, use hills to your advantage. But do not worry, warmongers, all is not lost. City walls are meant to be broken after all. Like in the game I played as the English. For like 30 turns I was being invaded from all sides of the world by pretty much every nation in the game. And even at one point my own capital fell because, well, I was an idiot and misclicked a unit. Doesn't matter, I was choosing to go on the defensive in some areas and on the offensive in others. In this case, I went on the offensive against the French with nothing but a catapult army that had every city attacking bonus you could want. It had a great general, the ability to attack twice. You can see the unit numbers in the city, because normally you can't do that, and to top it all off, a 50% increase when attacking a city. And let me tell you, I went from Toulouse all the way to Paris with that single unit in record time. I went from facing annihilation to top dog in a matter of 6 turns. This English playthrough made me realize that this game still got it. I was a little worried it may have aged a bit, and in some ways it has, but good God, is Civilization Revolution still a good time. Alright, let's get this review back on track after that little warmonger high I had. There are some things in the game the players of more modern Civ games will miss, such as there are no open border agreements with other nations. So if you want to go on another nation's land just to, move your units on by, but don't want to invade, you're out of luck. And the only roads that you can build are in between the cities you already own. So you can't build a highway so you can fill a nation with your caravans, which is what I would do in Civ 5. The technologies on offer are limited as far as the amount of them. It really feels like the game skips over about 100 to 200 years of real-world human advancement. Like, you'll go from the medieval era straight into the industrial age with rifles and factories. So I think they could have added some other tech to fill that gap, but this game isn't about realism, so we'll let that one slide. As a Civ game should, it has many wonders you can build, like the Great Pyramids and so on, but I gotta be honest, most of the wonders you can build are really a waste of time. Not only do most of the wonders become obsolete as soon as someone discovers a certain technology, but also they take an extremely long time to build, especially in the earlier stages of the game. The later or endgame wonders you can build, like military-industrial complex, are much more enticing. And if you're looking to build a nuke, keep in mind that once you build the Manhattan Project wonder, you will only get one nuke. You cannot make more than one nuke, so only use it when you really need to. But if you don't have the time or tech to build a nuke, just do the old classic death stacking tactic. Civ Rev does not really have a limit to how many units or armies are on one tile, so you can quite literally have like 12 units all on one tile. A tactic I remember from online play, overpowered yes, but in most cases it's at least fun. Here is another thing that is overpowered and also relates to the Spanish being overpowered I mentioned earlier. One of the natural wonders you can discover in the middle of the ocean is Atlantis. Whoever discovers this instantly learns like 3 to 4 new technologies no matter where on the tech tree. Yeah, I can tell you this thing caused fights back in the day.
Key Rain.
The overall AI of the other nations is at least decent when it comes to where units move to and how they attack, but one place the nations are just dumb or even really funny is in negotiation. If you're thinking of going for a science victory, be prepared to go to war almost immediately, because the second a nation realizes you have better tech than them, they will demand you either give them the tech or you will be invaded, which if you are not prepared, they will screw you over.
Klepto Onum Group.
That being said, the enemy civs will only admit defeat when you have completely defeated their armies and are at their capital's doorstep. But even then, I had some civs still demand technology for peace, only to be wiped off the map a turn later. You can peacefully trade technologies with other civs, which has led to some funny interactions that I didn't record, but the Greeks were offering their technology of atomic theory for my knowledge of building railroads. So in my head, I just pictured Alexander the Great handing me a nuke and saying, "Here, bro, go bring nuclear Armageddon to that nation we're both at war with," which, you know, what a cool guy that Alexander the Great is, man. Just a real bro. Modern warfare aside, I love the cartoony art style that the game is made up in. It definitely fits the scaled-down nature of the game. All your advisors change their appearance as you move into new areas, which is a nice touch, and of course all the leaders look like caricatures of themselves. I'm kind of done with realistic-looking leaders in the more modern Civ games. I very much prefer them to look kind of how people remember them, if that makes any sense. But everything else from the landscapes and units are all bright and vibrant, which is something that comes and goes with every Civilization release, it seems. While the game never crashed on me, which is something I hear happens on the PS3 version, it can at times absolutely chug in the frame rate department. But I found that saving and reloading the game fixes the issue for the most part. It definitely gets it out of being below 10 FPS, so there's that at least. But overall, I still dig Civilization Revolution even all these years later. It has the Civ formula that has worked for the entire series, just scaled down for home consoles. I mean, hey, the thing is still pretty cheap online. It's like 15 bucks on eBay, which is not something a lot of other, now retro 360 games can be had for now. So for the price of lunch at McDonald's, you too can LARP as your favorite leader for world domination, which is a pretty good trade-off for a shitty Big Mac if you ask me. Until next time, dudes. Peace.